You know, the Super Bowl is, if not the premier platform left, really, for advertising to the mass audience. It's certainly one of the top ones. I mean, the Oscars, the Academy Awards is another, but really the Super Bowl is one of the last places where you can get almost everybody, a huge mass audience. And of course, there's also a huge social marketing or social networking component to this, because it's not just the ads that you see on television, it's all the buzz before and certainly after. You'll see all kinds of discussion on the web, in print, for example, in USA Today, all over the place. These ads have so-called legs. People will be talking about them, and they'll be getting a lot more impressions for weeks, if not months after. Knowing that, there are marketers that will save, or at least really try to stretch their dollars to be able to be in the Super Bowl. And we even, in this downturn right now, this economic downturn, we even see folks coming to the dance for the first time. I mean, Pedigree dog food is going to be in the Super Bowl. You know, there is counter-programming during the Super Bowl called Puppy Bowl. And Puppy Bowl is actually just puppies playing, you know, during the whole time the Super Bowl is on another cable network. You would expect to see Pedigree there, but Pedigree is going to be at the real Super Bowl this year. So one might wonder who is watching the Super Bowl. And it turns out many more people, and many more different kinds of people than you might expect. Nearly half the audience is female. And studies show many people watch the Super Bowl that never watch football any other time. And in fact, even people that dislike football watch the Super Bowl. Another interesting thing is that studies have shown, and in fact there was a very important study last year that came from the folks at TiVo, that illustrated that people watch the ads during the Super Bowl. I mean, they want to see this event, they're going to watch it because it's live, so there's not going to be any time shifting. And even if you're watching it and TiVoing it at the same time, you watch the ads. You don't try to skip the ads. So it's a premier event. It's a premier event for obviously football lovers, but perhaps even more so for marketers and for consumers who love advertising and love to see what's new, what's fresh, what's out there, and also what can they complain about and trash the next day. The expectation today is that if you're going to advertise in the Super Bowl and spend that kind of money and have that kind of audience, you need to be edgy. You need to be pushing the envelope with the creative aspect of your advertising. And in fact, often when advertisers are criticized after the fact, they're blamed for being too boring or being too staid or being too conservative. So what the audience is looking for and the expectation that's out there really reflects this idea that you need to be, if you're going to use humor, really funny in a very creative way. If you're going to use sexual imagery like GoDaddy does, it better really push the envelope. If you're going to appeal to nostalgia and emotion, like we've seen from Budweiser on occasion, it needs to really bring a tear to the eye. This idea of wanting to reflect the mood of the country in Super Bowl advertising is an important one. I mean, clear back in 1991, in the first Gulf War, the war was on everyone's mind. The whole question was, what would the ads be like on the Super Bowl? And many marketers chose to take a very quiet, in fact, in one case, even silent approach. You know, one cola decided to run their ad with no sound, just letters on a black screen. And at the time, this was considered to be shocking and breakthrough, but very respectful of the mood of the country. The question this year is, what is the mood of the country? We know people are afraid and they feel bad about the economy, and yet the Super Bowl is known for being fun and risky and out there, at least in terms of the advertising, if not the football. So if the ads are too somber, there might actually be a backlash, or at least the opposite effect might happen in that people will feel like it's just a downer. So it will be interesting to see, will the ads push the envelope as they historically try to do and be really out there in terms of humor or risque language or sexual imagery or other kinds of things? Or will we see more thoughtful, maybe even patriotic ads that are sort of put together with this notion that people are feeling bad and they don't want to be poked or jabbed with risque or out there kinds of imagery? In terms of content of the ads, I think one thing that will be interesting to watch is an even greater reliance on the Clydesdales by Budweiser, by Anheuser-Busch. They know from years of research and findings that people love the Clydesdales. They make them feel good. They make them feel warm and happy. they are a good thing. They make people go to another place emotionally. And Anheuser-Busch wants this. They figure that with the tone of the economy and the mood in the country, let's give people even more feel-good advertising. The other thing with the Clydesdales is it reminds everyone and reassures them that Anheuser-Busch and the Budweiser brand has been around a long time and is here to stay. So they're really going to leverage those Clydesdales this year. Something we'll see from GoDaddy this year will be very exciting, particularly for folks who are big fans of the following celebrity. Danica Patrick from car racing fame is going to be featured in at least one GoDaddy ad. They have purchased time for one ad, and they're talking about potentially purchasing a second. So we will get to see Danica under the brand name GoDaddy, and given the history of GoDaddy and the Super Bowl, we have no idea what we'll see from Danica. But whatever it'll be, I'm sure it'll be very interesting.